All right, so we're back with CFB Overtime Podcast number 8. Norman, Tyler, Chris. We're gonna recap these games from last week and then preview the upcoming games. So starting off with number 13, Wisconsin at Michigan.
Well, wasn't that just a blowout game?
Yeah.
Slaughter. Harbaugh's losing his job. I'm advocating for this man to get out of Michigan, dude. He's got to go. There's no way he keeps his job. There's just no way you can justify keeping that job.
Yeah,
he is not delivering anything that he.
Yeah, it's pretty insane the amount of hype that Joe Milton had coming into the season.
Yeah,
he's sitting
I don't think he's a bad player. He's got tons of potential, like the size. You know what I'm saying? The athleticism.
But it's not like they don't have they have Josh Gaddis there, who was the offensive coordinator at Alabama for 3 years when Jalen Hurts was playing. So they have a good play caller, or at least he was at Alabama. And there's a drop off in talent, but
yeah.
There's a drop off in talent, obviously, but not you didn't go from Alabama to Rutgers in a talent gap wise. You're still at a top recruiting program.
Right. I don't know, but Wisconsin looks fucking good, dude. I'm not even going to lie to you. Wisconsin can compete with the Big Ten.
But I don't know.
They do this all the time, though, in my opinion.
I don't know, but to me, I think this is a different Wisconsin team this year, to be honest with you. They look good.
Wisconsin always looks good, though.
Yeah, but I don't know, something about their young players this year. Like you said, it could be just, the beginning of the year, but Wisconsin looks like a really good team to compete with Ohio State for the Big Ten again.
No. I don't think they're not. If they can get consistent quarterback play, then maybe, but they're going to have a guy, honestly, to beat Ohio State, they're going to have a guy come out and just have a game.
Yeah, and
he's going to have to go up.
Graham Mertz has looked good so far. He last game went 12 for 22 and only 127 yards, so with two touchdowns. But everybody tortures Michigan's defense, and he didn't even really put up huge numbers against them either. So
kind of didn't have to though. That game.
I agree. Yeah,
kind of handed them that game.
I'm honestly surprised Harbaugh is still in the office. I'm surprised he didn't lose his job after this game, to be honest with you.
They're not going to fire him.
He lost his job after Michigan State. They should have fired him after the Michigan State.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy looks like – dude, do you guys know – oh, my God.
They're not going to fire Harbaugh.
He looks like a pro gamer right now, dog.
He does, doesn't he?
Just got done playing Call of Duty, bro.
No, but
– oh, my God. Look good.
Yeah,
they're right now. What are we talking about?
Right now, the Wisconsin-Michigan game.
Michigan game.
We're talking about Michigan getting bent over and spanked by Wisconsin.
Yeah,
dude.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the most facial hair Goober has ever had in his life.
Going on?
Dude,
He's got that little porn stash.
What'd you say, Tyler?
I didn't say nothing.
Oh.
No, I told you gotta get like me, Garrett. Look.
Oh yeah, right, dude. That'll be in 20 years.
Yeah, that game was a slaughter, and I don't think Harbaugh's going to get fired just because I don't think you can justify the buyout. He only has one more year after this season, and I feel like the excuses for this season are pretty high, with everything going on, and
it is a weird year for sports, but
if anyone needs an excuse, it's Wisconsin. They're the one that's COVID infested. They
Yeah,
still
well,
beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like they'll be okay, well, obviously a lot of stuff is going on in the world. We'll give him his last year and then we'll go from there. But his buyout's just insane. I don't see them paying for that.
Hell, Wisconsin's schedule doesn't get easier. They got Northwestern, who's undefeated. They got Minnesota, which is mediocre this year. Then they got Indiana. We'll see how that plays. And then they got Iowa. So we'll see how those teams play out.
Yeah.
Got a big one in the Big Ten on Saturday too.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later. Next up, we got Arkansas at number 6, Florida.
Your boy, Kyle Trask.
Perfect timing for Garrett to get
5 TDs. Come on now.
6 TDs.
6 TDs. I'm sorry. Why did I disrespect Kyle Trask like that? 23 for 29, 356, 6 touchdowns, and no turnovers.
the Heisman front runner, baby. I called it for weeks and weeks in a row, and now Kyle Trask is going to win the Heisman. Just put it out in front of you.
I think the winner of the SEC championship determines the Heisman winner. If he beats Alabama, he'll win the Heisman.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't know, man. I don't feel like
Kyle Trask looks good.
I feel like it'll be Justin Fields before Mac Jones.
I think so too. And it's not even just like it's not even the numbers that he put up this year. I feel like it's more about the numbers that he put up last year and like the fact that as of right now, he has more touchdowns than he has incompletions, and like that's an insane stat by itself.
Yeah.
Like no matter how many games he's played, the fact that he has more touchdowns than he has incompletions. Like most people throw more than 10 incompletions in a game. Mm-hmm. He's played 3 games and has less than 10 or has 10 incompletions. So
Justin Fields the truth, man.
Yeah, but I mean, Florida looked good against Arkansas.
Started earlier in the season, only would have crazy numbers like Kyle Trask and stuff. He's got that right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he'd be way ahead in the front runner just because he started up there, and like he didn't have those weeks that he was off. Like if he would have started with everybody else, like he'd be way ahead in my opinion. Like no matter what the stats were, just because he started at that position. But like when he got pushed back, Trevor Lawrence surpassed him obviously because they played early, and then Trask obviously and Mac Jones. Like it's harder to catch up to those guys.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, I'd have picked Trevor Lawrence to win it.
Facts.
Yeah, the virus. Yeah, that stuff killed him, and it kind of sucks. But it always, like I said the other day, or like I said last week, it always his stats end up tapering off at the end of the year. Like they kind of just even out. Like he's not putting up insane numbers anymore. It's just kind of like normal numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, Florida looked good for sure.
Yeah, towards Arkansas.
Still
giving up a lot of plays though.
Yeah, too many touchdowns on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, if you're giving up 35 to Felipe Franks in Arkansas, the running back
ball this year, but I don't think Arkansas should be scoring 35. But you got to take it for what it is. They ended up blowing it. They gave up 35, still won by 30 points. So
yeah, for sure. And the running back, had 8 carries for 118 yards, and you gave up 2 receptions for 2 touchdowns to 1 wide receiver. Every ball he caught was in the end zone. So I don't know. I think the defense obviously could have played better, but
they won the game.
A win's a win. Their offense is good enough to give up those points against to a defense and still end up winning.
38 to Vandy and then 38 to Ole Miss. Yeah, Ole Miss last year.
Yeah, it's just like what I was saying about LSU or like Ohio State. Like their defense may give up major points, but like the offense is going to outrun most teams anyways for the most part, unless they're playing against Alabama or Florida or so on and so forth.
Yeah, bigger games like that, better opponents that you can't afford. Like, we'll just have to see, man, when they get down there in Atlanta and they're playing Alabama.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a good game.
See what happens.
There's no room for mistakes.
Mm-mm.
Oh no,
for sure,
definitely not.
So next up, we
gotta play a perfect game.
Yeah, so we got Notre Dame at Boston College, which ended up it was pretty close.
Started off close. I was actually watching it work the other day. They were replaying. They had a rerun of it, and it started off pretty tight. But Ian Book is kind of underrated in my opinion. That dude is he's a grinder, dog. Like he might not put up crazy numbers, but he's gonna make the plays to win a football game.
Yeah, he's a good game manager.
Yeah, for sure.
He will make winning plays. He's not gonna. He'll might light you up for 3 or 4 touchdowns a game. They'll have some games where he's not playing great. He's like 19 to 37, and he's like 210 yards and 2 touchdowns or whatever, 2 interceptions. Something, kind of like a very like mediocre game, but he just makes plays to win you the football game.
Yeah, he puts you in a good spot.
Quarterback. Yeah.
Puts you in a good spot to not lose. But the quarterback from Boston College is under 50% completions. He was 18 for 40.
Oh man,
2 touchdowns and a pick. So
that defense is stout in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They're getting better.
Yeah, but 31 points.
Is it enough to win them a playoff game is the question.
That's what we have to see.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because we all know the first year they went to the playoff game, they got embarrassed. So
it'll happen again.
We'll see.
But, I'd
like to see them play Ohio State. Honestly, I think Ohio State and Notre Dame would be a better playoff game instead of a Clemson Notre Dame game.
Yeah, and personally, if everything plays out the way it should, that's probably how it's going to end up being. If Alabama does beat Florida, and then if I lied, I'm sorry, because if Clemson ends up beating Notre Dame, it's going to be Clemson Ohio State again.
I'd rather see Ohio State Clemson than Ohio State.
That's always a good game. That's always a good game.
Not always.
It is. I'm not gonna lie, except for the 1 year.
It's always pain.
Very much pain. But yeah, I mean Notre Dame looks good, and we'll see how they play. They don't have another decent test until they play in the ACC.
Even if they even played Alabama in the playoff game, that'll probably still be a good game.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I don't know.
Notre Dame?
Alabama, I just think is.
I don't think Notre Dame's scoring with Alabama though. That's the issue.
Talking about Notre Dame?
Yeah.
No shot.
Notre Dame's not scoring with Alabama. Like they may get a stop here and there, but like their offense isn't high powered enough to score. Like Florida will put up numbers on Alabama. Ohio State will put up numbers on Alabama. Clemson will probably put up numbers on Alabama, but I don't think Notre Dame's talented enough to put up those numbers on Alabama to keep that game somewhat close.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say somewhat close. Put them in a chance to win the game. Like it might be a 14-point, 21-point game, which isn't terrible, but
I want to see them how they play against, bigger conferences like that, to see how they actually compete instead of Clemson, Clemson this, Clemson that. They didn't even have Clemson at their full potential, so I want to see them play.
I mean, they'll get another shot at us, so
we'll see.
I hate that argument. It makes me so mad.
Why do you hate the argument?
Because that kid played his ass off.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. DJ is a baller, bro. DJ
400
is a baller,
passing yards. Dude, they have Travis Etienne. They made that offense one-dimensional. You got to give them credit for that. Travis Etienne had 28 yards on 18
I get
carries.
that, but if you play Clemson, you're thinking that you're going to be playing against Trevor Lawrence, right? Like that Trevor Lawrence is the face of Clemson. You know what I mean? Like you want to play the best teams and the best conference with the best players.
400 yards and 3 touchdowns.
But still, I mean, this is the kid's second game, and he's a true freshman. I mean, like,
and you also got to think, dude. Ian Book kind of sold when he fumbled that ball into the end zone. That could have been the ball game, and they bounced back and ended up winning that football game.
All right. Here's my thing on that, Chris. You're right. You're right to an extent. That shouldn't have been that close with his stats. No, but Trevor Lawrence would have converted on some downs that DJ couldn't have converted on. Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
I get there's situational football, but
he's a better game manager than what's his name. He's a true freshman. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Trevor Lawrence would have managed that game a lot better to where it would have been at least a 10-7-point spread, and they would have come out with the win.
If they came out, Trevor Lawrence was playing that game, and they make that offense one-dimensional like that, I think they lose regardless. You can't win a football game with 28 yards of rushing on 18 carries. You're not winning.
Yeah, I agree, but
no.
It would have been an interesting game to see if Trevor Lawrence was playing that game. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, like what I'm saying is I feel like you can't take anything away from Notre Dame winning that game because they came out.
You can't. No, I mean, they won. I mean, that's
because if they would have lost that game, then the narrative is, oh, look, they can't beat Clemson with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but also, I feel like that game can't hold, a super amount of weight because they're going to end up playing again. So, with
regardless.
Everybody's thinking that they're going to have Trevor Lawrence. So, I don't think you can really say, you're going to see them again. So, I just don't think it can hold too much weight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, I think it punched their ticket to the playoff. They've shown they could play football with Clemson and, the likes of Clemson because – the only people that are going to be playing football with Clemson this year, I think, we'll see whoever the SEC champion is between the East or between Alabama or Florida. The winner of that game is probably going to get the playoff. So whoever comes out of the SEC, I think Notre Dame's going to be in there just because of the win over Clemson in the regular season, whether they win or lose the ACC. So, let's say Notre Dame drops the ACC championship. Clemson will get in. The winner of the SEC will get in. Notre Dame will still be in. And then if Ohio State wins the Big Ten, then Ohio State would be in.
If Florida wins, I think they send 2.
They could. You can make the argument for Alabama. I think you can put, but I don't know who you're putting in. You can't. I don't know. That's going to be a tough argument to make. At the same time.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that
Notre Dame has the best win. Or Notre Dame has a better win. I mean, Alabama, you can say the A&M win. Because, A&M beat Florida, and then they dropped the game to Florida. And, so you can make an argument. But I feel like Notre Dame has the better win because they beat number 1 Clemson.
I mean, If Clemson ends up losing the ACC championship game, then yes, 2 SEC, and Florida wins, then definitely 2 SEC schools make it. And Ohio State wins out, you'll have Notre Dame because they beat Clemson twice, so Clemson's automatically out. You'll have Alabama, Ohio State, and Florida, however you rearrange that. And then, but if Clemson wins and they split that series, and then Florida wins, I mean, it's hard. I mean, you got 4 teams really that you're juggling, like who's going to be in and how are you going to sort it?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, do you put Ohio State all the way back up to 1 because they're the only undefeated team? I mean, I would think so because all those teams have kind of beat each other or beat one another for the most part. So, and I think this year is going to be really tough because it's like almost the 2014 year where there's actually a really true argument for who can be in that 4 spot, who can be in that 3 spot. Because like in 2014, go ahead, Garrett.
I don't think 2 ACC teams get in, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, it all depends on if Florida wins. If Florida loses,
They split. I still think only one of them gets in, and the loser of the ACC game goes and plays in the best bowl game.
My thing is how can you say that? Like, let's say Notre Dame drops the game to Clemson, right? So Clemson would get in. How do you say that Notre Dame's loss is worse than Florida's loss?
I mean, they're going to say that Notre Dame beat Clemson with their backup quarterback. That's what their argument would be.
I mean,
yeah, but at the end of the day, that was number 1 ranked team, whereas Alabama, it was like Alabama drops that game, like it's like they're a 1-loss team, and I mean they lost to Florida, which isn't a bad loss. Florida's good, but they already beat these guys once.
Yeah.
This game, so it's like the argument can be.
Yeah, it is going to be.
It's an argument either way.
Yeah, I think it's definitely tough. And like I said, I think it's really the only the first time the playoffs have been like they're gonna have a really tough choice at who makes it in since 2014. I mean, in 2014 you had Ohio State, who had lost to Virginia Tech earlier in the year, and then went on a run. You had TCU, who had Trayvon Boykin, who was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had who was the other school? It was Baylor. Baylor was really good because they had Bryce Petty. And I mean, all 3 of the schools. But what killed the Big 12 is because they didn't have a Big 12 championship game.
Yeah, no.
So it really hurt them that year.
So we're just gonna go ahead and count Oregon and Cincinnati out.
I don't think the Pac-12 can make them enough ground. Like they don't play enough.
Yeah.
Which sucks because Oregon looks really good so far.
Yeah,
but it just sucks. They don't play.
Out.
Their schedule just is terrible past this. Like
I honestly don't know how would Cincinnati make it to the playoffs though, honestly. Like, I mean, yeah, they're undefeated. Yeah, they're looking good, but like they haven't played
I think you're right.
Tough
the only
teams
way I could see
to make it to the playoffs,
So if Florida loses and Clemson loses,
that's the only way.
Yeah, they both have 2 losses, and
they have to slide them in. I mean, your only argument would be A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But A&M has 1 loss, and obviously it's probably the top team in the nation.
A&M back in the playoff bracket to play Alabama and get thumped again.
Exactly. They're going to be the 4 seed versus the 1, and they're going to play Alabama again. I'd rather see Cincinnati play Alabama, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I feel like Cincinnati might give them a run for their money, you know?
Or at least give them –
I don't think that. I don't know. Either way, I just feel like that 4 spot, if both Clemson and Florida lose, like in that scenario – I feel like that 4 spot is going to be basically a first-round bye for whoever the number 1 seed is. Like, I feel like whatever team – unless, like, I don't know. I can't I hate to disrespect A&M because they've been playing really good football since the Alabama game, but that Alabama game was ugly.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That was a bad loss. Like, they got thumped. And most people play Alabama, and they get thumped. That's kind of just what happens.
Honestly, I haven't seen A&M play this good in a really long time.
Yeah, Jimbo's starting to turn it around. He's starting to recruit a lot better. He's starting to play good football there in A&M.
Yeah. Even though, like, they're kind of looking at, like, the Manziel area, you know, even though Manziel didn't, you know, produce some, you know, undefeated seasons, but he brought them, you know, winning seasons. So
like
he was exciting to watch.
Really don't understand how hard it is to go undefeated. I really feel like people don't. Like, people just think that just kind of happens. That's really hard. Like, most of I think I don't think any of Alabama's national championships this decade they've been unbeaten. I don't think any of them have. I think Clemson has one when Trevor Lawrence and Clemson just came out and rolled Alabama his freshman year. That was an unbeaten national championship. I think that was the first one in their school history, or second maybe. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I don't remember Alabama having a completely unbeaten season, winning a national.
I think in 2009 when they played Texas, I think they were undefeated.
Well, he said this
year.
He said this decade. That's
this era. Oh, okay. Yeah. This year.
But
so
yeah, I mean,
they had the one. I know the 1 year they lost. Who did they lose to? They lost 2 of the years they lost to Ole Miss.
Did they really? I didn't know. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they were number 1. They were number 1. That's when.
What about the year that they played LSU in the national championship game?
Hugh Freeze beat them 1 year.
LSU, we beat them. We beat them in the regular season, and then we played them again in the national championship.
Oh, okay.
2011. Yeah, we beat them 9-6 in overtime, and
that's
Oklahoma State went and lost the next week, and then Alabama got put back in, and they rolled us.
Yeah, that was crazy.
15 points on field goals. Pain.
Can't win a football game like that.
Back on schedule, we got number 23 Northwestern at Purdue, which was 2 undefeated teams in the Big Ten. Really, the biggest game in the Big Ten that was played, probably.
Northwestern's playing pretty decent, surprisingly. Honestly.
Yes. 27-20 final, and I mean, and Northwestern, like you said, has looked decent. And their quarterbacks look really good. And I want to say,
but they're like Wisconsin, though. They start off hot in the beginning of the first half of the year, and then they fall off towards the end of the year,
Honestly, the only thing that annoys me about the Big Ten is just the area. Like, it's not very fertile recruiting ground, and none of them can go out of state and get guys because they're just not appealing enough. The only team up there that can do it is Ohio State.
Yeah.
Everybody else is
Where is Northwestern? Indiana?
Yeah, it's Illinois. No, it's Illinois. It's Chicago area, like around that.
I thought they were in New York.
No, Rutgers is in New Jersey.
Yeah, Rutgers
that's right.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Syracuse is in New York.
Yeah,
that's right.
But no, it's in. It's like basically like Chicago
area. Yeah.
I didn't watch that game.
Well, I know they were playing Yankee Stadium. I was like, I thought it was in New York.
No, they did it was like a neutral site there.
Yeah, it was a neutral site game. But they've been playing good football though. I'm not gonna take anything from them. It's just I just had to gripe off my test. It's just I hate to see it. Like I just wish there was more parity in some of these conferences and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean I don't know when they play Wisconsin. They play Wisconsin this week actually.
They play Wisconsin this week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually one of the games on the list for later, to be honest.
Ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, and Northwestern's quarterbacks look pretty decent.
The defense has been playing really good too.
They're normally known for a really good defense, which is what carries them. And then when they play Ohio State or like Michigan State, when Michigan State was good, like normally they drop that game because the offense is a lot better.
Yeah.
Talent-wise. But, I mean, their defense is normally pretty stout. They're just a grind team, basically, in my opinion. They run the ball a lot, or they used to they're a little bit more pass heavy now, but
yeah.
Everyone seems to be pass heavy this year.
Yeah, like everybody's
for sure.
Everybody's seen it. Like everybody's seen like what you can do. Like and like LSU for the longest time, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They come out 1 year, spread the ball out, and it's like, oh wow, you get these athletes into space, and look what can happen. So everybody's like, yo. Alabama too. Alabama started spreading it out like with Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian. They're like, hey, we can get these athletes into space. Like, big plays. Like, why have we not been doing this sooner? Why have we just been recruiting 5-star receivers just to have them block?
All these games that got postponed last week, and I wonder how they're going to come out this weekend and perform like Georgia, Mizzou.
It sucks. A lot
Alabama.
of games got postponed.
I mean, I think for those schools, they're going to proceed to beat the crap out of those teams just because it's Alabama or Georgia versus Mizzou.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
They should win that game, especially I would assume JT Daniels is starting this week.
Yeah, this is confirmed.
That's what they say.
Well, I'm saying like I would assume that he's gonna come out with a fire underneath them and he's gonna try to throw the ball around.
How do you think Georgia fans are gonna be if JT Daniels just comes out and lights up the second half of the season? And
they're gonna be pretty pissed off because they should have had JT Daniels start from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's his fault for not knowing the playbook.
Whatever the reason is.
Well, yeah.
It's at this point.
It took them this long for them to have 2 losses to actually be like, hey, buddy, now you can start.
Yeah.
Like, what are you playing for now? A bowl? Like,
Yeah.
Just a bowl game now, yeah.
Yeah, trying to make it
Just
nice
to win at the
bowl
rest of
when
the
they
year,
can.
have a 8-win season.
Yeah. But next game we got is 11 Oregon at Washington State. Oregon.
Well, Washington State kept it pretty close at the beginning. Then Oregon just lit it up and pulled away.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon's like good.
Linebacker get hurt?
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
Who did?
that guy.
Justin Flo, the number 1 linebacker in the nation from last year's recruiting class.
Oh, he tore his ACL?
Yeah, ACL or MCL. He's out for the season, whatever he did. I can't remember. It was in his leg.
Dude, that kid was a
That guy is
baller.
Yeah, the kid's a stud.
I think Oregon looks good. It sucks they won't get a shot to be in the playoff this year, but
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they do look really good, and like we were talking about earlier, they just don't play enough ranked team. I mean, I think
I
they're
just don't know how they would get in the playoffs to begin with, honestly. Like, I mean,
I think
everybody
you have
else
to be
looks
under
good.
chaos, and even then.
well,
like,
what's really hurt them this year too is no out of conference games. I mean, they were scheduled to play Ohio State this year. Like, if they would have beat Ohio State, then I mean, in the week 2, and they stayed undefeated, that probably guaranteed them a shot at the college football playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, they played an unranked Stanford, unranked Washington State, unranked UCLA, unranked Oregon State, unranked Cal, unranked Washington.
Yeah, the
There's
rest
just
of
no
the,
way.
the rest of their schedule is pretty shitty. I mean, you got what do you got next? You got Oregon State next. No, you got UCLA next, then Oregon State, then Cal, and then Washington at the last game of the year. Like, I mean,
And there's just not enough. There's not enough parity and like upsets
No.
this year that's gonna get them to go up. Like you would need Cincinnati to drop a game, Texas A&M to drop a game, Florida to drop a game. Like
you would literally have to have like the whole, college football country like lose.
basically, yeah. Which I mean sucks because they do look really good. I mean that quarterback that they've had, he looked good. He put up 312 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. And like I said last week, I mean their running game has looked strong. 18 carries for 118 yards and a touchdown, which is not Oregon's strong suit. But they've been looking really solid overall.
Yeah. But they have been really good.
Sucks that they won't get a shot.
it does indeed.
They get to play Ohio State again next year though. So.
Yeah, that'd be.
They rescheduled it? Oh, was it a
No,
home?
it was a home and home. They play at. I don't know how they're gonna end up doing it. Like I don't know if they'll end up adding it to another like a few years down the line or what. But they were supposed to play in Autzen this year, so next year it'll be in Columbus.
I wonder if they're gonna actually open up, exchange conferences next year. Like.
I mean,
Hopefully.
that's just gonna have to wait and see.
So.
I mean, who knows if this year even finish college football based on how it's going.
Back.
Honestly, but last game up, we got number 9 Miami at Virginia Tech.
Man, I'm telling you what, man. De'Aaron King keeps this Miami team alive. I mean, they're like
Imagine if he would
hair
have
is just
Georgia, dude. Man, that would have been crazy.
They probably would have benched him.
Stetson Bennett, baby.
Yeah, and then he would have declared for the draft.
Dude, how about them getting saved another week in a row?
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Miami
so
is
bad.
not a good football team.
Like they're just like they're barely winning, but they're winning, and it's like they're sloppy wins. But I mean, like they're still keeping their playoffs hopes alive. I mean,
Bro, but think about it. They beat a team by 1 point that just lost to Liberty by a point. I'm not saying
which
that Liberty
I
bad.
understand, I get it,
But,
but a win's a win. Like I understand, like they're not. It's not a blowout win, but it's a win.
Their Virginia Tech's quarterback had 21 carries.
Against an unranked state team and Virginia Tech team.
But the only game that I see them stumbling on is probably North Carolina. Big first next. Then they got, North Carolina. And then they got Georgia Tech at the end of the year. So if Miami, wins out the rest of the year, then what? Like, do they play for a New Year's Six bowl game?
I'm sure they'll get I don't know actually.
It's going to be interesting.
If it can remain lost, probably. It depends on how high they end up ranked at the end of the season.
But see, the thing is like with them barely winning their games this year, like, would you even want them playing in a New Year's Six bowl game? You know what I mean? Like, would it even be worth putting Miami in there?
Good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true.
But as the team from the ACC, like let's say Clemson and Notre Dame both make the playoffs, as the team from the ACC that didn't make the playoffs, they'd be in the New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to.
Like it's the same thing with like the Big Ten. Like if Ohio State makes the college football playoffs, like the runner-up goes to the Rose Bowl. So if two teams make it from the ACC, like Miami's the third team, they're going to go to a New Year's Six, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But so those are all the games we got. Performer of the week. Garrett, go ahead, buddy.
You know, this wasn't really hard for me. I'm going with Kyle Trask.
Surprise, surprise.
Dude, balled out, dude. I mean, you got to give it to him. You got to give it to him. He's got – let me tell you something, dude. Read this, all right?
Break me the
And his
stats.
first six games against all SEC opponents, 148 completions, 2,171 yards, 28 TDs, and 3 interceptions.
It's a baller.
Dude's balling out. No one expected it. He came out of nowhere.
Literally.
Like –
honestly, I was scared, you know, like when I watched that Kentucky game, like obviously that was his, you know, his first test on the road in Lexington, you know.
last year, right?
Yeah, last year. Like he made some mistakes, you know. I was sitting there cussing at the TV, you know, I wanted Emory Jones to play and everything. But then, you know, I kind of like stuck it out. I'm like, okay, he has a lot of potential. I see him play before, you know. I was like, I remember him playing. You know, he's gonna be like he's working his way up to be a first-round draft pick.
5 TDs and a half, dude. Performer of the week.
Yeah.
I know if he'll end up being a first-round draft pick, but
I don't know, man. He keeps playing the way he keeps playing.
I mean, he might be a super late first-round draft pick. That's possible.
He may still come back next year.
No, this is it.
Yeah, he's a senior.
Eligibility doesn't count this year.
Yeah, but I don't see. But he has the chance to come back and blow it and become a undrafted free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Like you're basically at your peak.
Yeah.
Like you've had an amazing. You've had an amazing season. You might as well take it and run.
And if he comes back, Emory Jones is transferring. That's it. Like if he comes back, like Jones is gone.
I know Norman probably picked Kyle Trask again.
Your boy, you know, I got to give it to him, man. You know, I like Kyle Trask. I like what he's doing. You know, I feel like he can win the Heisman. And, you know, it's weird to say because we haven't had a Florida player this good since the Tebow era. You know, it's like, holy shit. Like, we actually have a player or we actually have a whole team that has a shot to play for something bigger than, you know, some crappy bowl game, you know.
Against Louisville.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This is exciting to watch, you know, because, like, the past few years watching Florida play, you know, it's been depressing, you know. But, you know, now that Dan Mullen's in there, he's turned the program around, and I'm excited. You know, this is a new generation of Florida football, you know. It's interesting to see what's going to happen after this year, you know. Are they still going to be producing like they have been this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been playing good. Chris, did you have Kyle Trask too?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Kyle Trask all the way.
Yeah, he threw 6 touchdowns in a game, man. That's like – I do that on Madden sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, those are video game stats, bro.
So,
like, I mean, 25 or 29, I mean, like, come
he's
on.
He's been playing really good. And if you're a betting man and you're betting on Heisman odds, like at the moment, he is the front runner. I said it before, though. I think the SEC championship will decide the Heisman winner. You know, like Joe Burrow won his Heisman Trophy in Tuscaloosa last year. Kyle Trask can go into Atlanta and win his against Alabama. You know, that's kind of like – that's the mountain, I think, in the SEC that you got to climb. Like, a lot of people can't do it.
No.
So if he go and he can beat Alabama, and it's just crazy, man, because it's like it's a great feeling. Me personally, watching like the whole season last year, because I know exactly what you're talking about. How it's like, man, you're just sitting here in mediocrity, winning 9-10 games a year, and that's good. That's not like bad, but it's like you know you have the talent to compete. And, like, then you just see this team just, like, take off. And you're, like, watching it unfold in front of you. And you're like, this is crazy. This is insane. And it's like, last year was the most fun I've ever had watching football in my entire life.
I wonder why.
Like, I know the feeling. Like, oh man, it's just
Right,
crazy.
yeah, like-
and it just sucks that it's a weird year in football, and like you
Yeah.
won't get to see like the whole season kind of unfold. You're only playing like 10 games versus like 15 that normally comes when you make a playoff bid and stuff like that in college. But it's still fun to watch. It's still cool to
Yeah.
see, and like programs like that have like kind of been sitting there in the middle of the pack. And they finally like they take that next step and they're starting to play better. It's cool to see. It's honestly fun to see. Like
Honestly,
I don't hate anybody. Like I like to see all these programs flourish. I just like to see parity. I like to see teams being able to, like, different teams from everywhere being able to compete,
right.
play for a
Yeah.
national championship. I hate
Now-
seeing Alabama, Clemson every year. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
granted, that's a testament to their greatness and like how great they're playing, and like, you know, like can't take anything from that. But it's like it's cool to see other teams step up and be able to.
Yeah.
Has Alabama, Ohio State, or Clemson missed the playoffs since 2014?
Alabama or Ohio State has.
Ohio State.
How many?
won.
Ohio State
I
has.
think they didn't get in. They lost to
Ohio State didn't get in 2015. They didn't get in 2018. Yeah.
I know that one year they lost to, who was that team they lost to? Wasn't it Purdue?
Well, they
Yeah,
lost
Purdue
to
didn't get-
they lost to they lost to one either Purdue or Iowa, and they ended up making it in over Penn State.
Yeah, I think you lost to Iowa that year. I think the Purdue loss you guys didn't get in just because of how bad the loss was. I think
Yeah,
it
that
like
was 2017.
Yeah, it was like a 20-something point
No,
loss, and like you only
yeah,
had
20.
one loss, and you were sitting there, but everyone was like, "Bro,
I lied. It was 2018. That was the year Dwayne Haskins was there. But then we also didn't make it in 2015 because Michael Geiger,
Of the whole,
the kick.
yeah.
So we didn't make that year either. But I actually didn't pick Kyle Trask for my performer of the week.
Oh my God.
Well, I knew at least two of the four of us were gonna pick it. I figured Chris might go along with it, so I wanted some parity, as Chris would say.
Okay.
So I went with Matt Corral from Ole Miss, who had
he
28
played good too, though. He did
28
play
for
good.
32,
Yeah, he
500,
didn't do that bad.
513
Like,
yards, 4 touchdowns, and then he also ran for another touchdown. So that's what.
Hey, he fired
Lane
him.
Kiffin with the clipboard throw though.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thought
Like he
for
knew he
Matt
He was
Corral,
running down the sideline. Yeah, that was
I've
funny.
seen that.
I
Matt
love
Corral.
Lane Kiffin.
Matt Corral lost Muschamp's job. Made Muschamp lose his job on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Man, but South Carolina's running back in that game had 25 carries, 243 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He almost averaged 10 carries a game, or 10
Christ.
yards a carry, and had 5 touchdowns.
Ole Miss doesn't have a defense.
I didn't realize that Muschamp. I think his record was like 22-23 at South Carolina. I honestly didn't know he was like. I mean, I guess it's not good, but I didn't know he won 22 games at South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is not that great of a head coach. I mean, granted, he took us to the Sugar Bowl one year, but
No,
he's a hell of a defensive coordinator.
Most of those
Great D
wins came-
coordinator.
Great
most of those
defense.
wins
Bro,
came
like I
against-
was just thinking about this. Like, imagine if Florida this year had the same defense, the dominant defense that we've been having for the past few years with this offense.
2012 defense.
Oh my God, dude!
But
Like,
the amount of times
Florida
that actually happens for a college football team is very rare. Normally,
was crazy.
a team has a really solid offense or defense, and the other side kind of lacks a little bit
Yeah.
for the most part. Or
It's
like
hard
they're
to put
not.
it all together at once.
Yeah,
The-
they're not.
the-
very
the-
deep.
The only Florida team I could think about that was solid all the way around was the 08 team.
That was it. I mean, you had
Joe Hayden,
players left and
Brandon
right.
Spikes, Percy Harvin, Tebow,
Oh my
dude.
God, dude! You had Chris Rainey, Jeff Demps. Oh
Yeah.
my
Jarvis
God!
Jenkins is good too. Jack Rabbit.
Oh yeah, Janoris Jenkins. He was a baller, bro. It
Major
just sucks
Wright.
to see that he didn't get to finish
Major
his
Wright,
career at Florida. You know, got in a little bit of trouble. Had to transfer to South Alabama.
Oh man, it would have been crazy if the guys would have kept like a generational talent at that school. Like, what was that? Cam Newton, right? That
Oh
guy
my
could've stayed.
God!
What could have
bro.
happened?
dude?
Stole a computer, got kicked out of school, and then
Like,
I don't
just
even-
like Cam
I
Newton
heard-
would have been the face when Tebow left. Like Cam Newton would have been.
probably.
Oh my God! Like
Yeah.
I don't
we
even wanna
had
think
we
about
had a
it.
good quarterback since then. We had Will Greer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, for what, 4 games?
Yeah, and then he took the one-a-day pills and got kicked out of fucking Florida. So
Dude. And as soon as they suspended him, he was like, I'm transferring. I was like,
yeah,
"Damn,
he's gone. I'm out.
yeah. He just like, I'm out. All right.
I really liked what I saw out of Will Greer back then.
No,
I thought
dude,
Will Greer
lighted
was a
up.
baller,
It was
dude.
crazy because he got suspended the week before the LSU game. I was
Yeah.
like, man, Will Greer might come in and play pretty well. Might torch us. And he got suspended. And I was like, oh, now
What year was that? 16?
Ah, man, I don't remember.
That was 2016 or 2017.
2019.
It wasn't that late.
Was the year we lost to Troy, and then we ended up going to Gainesville and kicking a game-winning field goal to win the game by like a point. So
I think
That was the year.
2016 was the year we stopped you all on the goal line with
Think
time
so.
expired.
Yeah, that was the year Austin Appleby was our quarterback.
Yeah.
Austin Appleby. And we went to the SEC championship game and got demolished.
rolled, yeah.
The year before that, it was close though. The SEC championship before that was close.
Yeah.
It wasn't 52-12.
Oh my god.
That level of Jim McElwain.
And it's 52-12. But
That's what it was, dude, in 2017.
so we got
2016,
Heisman.
I mean.
Heisman top 3. I'm sure all of us have Kyle Trask at number 1.
Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For me,
Hey, wait. Pause. Remember 3 weeks ago when you guys laughed at me when I said Kyle Trask was on my Heisman top 3?
Look, I didn't look.
I still don't think he's gonna win unless he wins the SEC championship.
Yeah, I think he's
As
playing
of right
great,
now,
but
he's number
like I
1.
said,
But
he's got that mountain, man. That mountain of Alabama is a tough one to climb, and he's gonna have to do it.
But do you guys remember the time when he wasn't even on y'all's list and y'all laughed at me?
I remember last week y'all all left Mac Jones off the list.
Yeah, but I'm asking Kyle freaking Trask. You remember when you left him off your list?
Maybe.
Well, we also had Trevor Lawrence, and it was healthy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like COVID ridden. Also had Justin Fields
Look,
playing
dude.
great football. Mac Jones. Like,
Exactly.
I knew this was coming, all right? I knew it was coming.
I feel like the chips kind of like fell in your favor, and like now you're reaping the benefits of it.
Okay, yeah. That's a possibility.
But
Look at the draw.
number 2 for me is Justin Fields, though. Still ahead of Mac Jones, in my opinion. Then Mac Jones.
I got the
I
same
think that would
list.
be my top 3.
Yeah, that's my same exact list.
Norman, give me a hot take.
Shit, I got
Darius Toney.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Kadarius Toney, get him on the list.
Number 1.
He's gonna be the Heisman frontrunner tomorrow.
Man, I tell you what, if Kyle Pitts played last week, he'd be my number 2.
Dude,
There we go.
what happened? Like,
What?
He got concussed. He got concussed.
You got a
Yeah,
squad clean,
yeah. Remember? Hold on, Chris. You remember in the group chat when they said, "Oh, he's coming back later in the game. Don't worry, he'll be there. he'll be back in the game. Don't worry."
Hey,
I said, bro.
I was
I
half a
said-
bottle of Captain Down at that point.
I said, bro, he ain't coming back, homie. Don't worry. You'll see him in 2 weeks.
Remember when y'all texted me when it was 14-0 and said, and to think you bet me $100 Florida was going to be in the playoff. Florida comes back and
To be
sweeps
fair,
Georgia out of
he did
Jacksonville.
give up over 100 rushing yards on
Hey,
like
that's
2 drives.
Almost in one
okay.
play.
No. Do you know why? That running back had like 130 rushing yards and 175-yard play off a busted play.
I wouldn't say it was
Yeah,
busted
they-
necessarily.
Yeah, I was like,
Well, they gave up.
I was pretty well blocked play if I'm being honest.
I mean, it was a good play. It wasn't necessarily
All right,
busted.
look.
And your corner missed, or free safety missed the tackle completely.
Well, that's what they do. They're coverage safeties. You know what I'm saying? Florida don't.
So it wasn't a busted play. And they're not coverage safeties either.
Yeah, that is true.
Ain't much
Oh,
coverage
you know who I'm
safeties this
going to put a hot take? I'm putting Kellen Heisman at number 3.
Oh
Okay.
my God, get
year.
him
Over
out.
Mac Jones?
No,
he
I
did
got
beat-
okay.
Well,
I mean, Heisman did beat Florida.
yeah, no, he didn't. He beat Florida's defense.
No. He beat Florida.
Okay, get him.
Yeah,
out of
but
here.
Kellen, I mean,
Just like Indiana's beating Ohio State next week.
I'll wait for you to give me that. I'll wait for you to give me that preview here in a minute.
No Hoosiers, baby.
We'll see.
That's honestly a scenario we have not even dabbled in because we just think it's so impossible. But what if Ohio State drops a game in the
I mean, every time we say
That's not the only game they're dropping either. Wisconsin's coming in and cleaning their clock too.
Oh man, this is
Ooh.
a very hot take right now.
ooh,
I guess that's what it would- that's what it would-
I'm honestly
This one's
curious as to
interesting.
what happens to the playoff picture if Ohio State drops a game in the Big Ten.
Well, that's what it would take to get Florida in. That's what it would take to get Florida in after they lose to Alabama.
No, they're not losing to Alabama, dude. It's just not gonna happen.
He's praying for Ohio State to lose now. Then goes to sleep.
If
I
Florida
hope
loses
Ohio
to-
State loses so Florida can get in after losing to Alabama.
If Florida
Amen,
loses
Jesus.
to Alabama, no matter what the circumstance, they're not getting in.
Hey, all I ask for Christmas
Unfortunately,
this year
as
is
great
Florida
as
beats
great of a year as
Alabama.
it's been for Kyle Trask, and it would honestly suck to see it in that way, but they lose that SEC championship game. There's no coming back from that. Like I said,
If Florida didn't drop the game against
that's what
against
sucks.
A&M, they would probably be the number 1 team in the country right now. Number 2 team.
If.
Shut up. All right, listen. Florida will beat Ohio State in the playoff. Hot take.
First, I've heard that for the past 6 years and haven't
Listen,
seen you there yet.
And you're gonna owe me $100.
No. Talk to me, Garrett. I've heard that for the past 6 years and I haven't seen you there yet.
All right, well listen, you've heard it, but this year is the year.
You told me that last year, and the year before, and the year before that one too.
You gotta have faith, bro. You gotta have faith.
Yeah, and I have faith that the University of Akron is going to win the national championship. It don't matter.
The last time I saw the University of Florida compete for something big, I was 10 years old. So yeah, I'm betting on them every year.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have hopes.
But Ohio State,
I have hopes too, and they always get shattered, except for that one right there. That's the only hope that never got shattered. Other than that, they tend to get shattered very frequently. But yeah, big pain. Going on to next week, starting game number 3 Ohio State at Indiana.
That's going to be interesting for Indiana.
Gary gave us his
Indiana.
opinion on the game.
Indiana playing good football.
It's Indiana
Can
at
they
Ohio State.
actually compete against Ohio State? I'm going to say no, but I do think they will put up points against Ohio State, and I think Ohio State runs away with it in the second half.
Hey, my record sucks already. I'm going with the upset, baby. Indiana.
You do
But
have
no,
a bad
I still
record,
got
bro.
Ohio State.
You got to stop with the hot takes, dog. Hey,
And you have to be here.
Right. Like,
And you have to be here to give us predictions too. That's why that's half the reason why your record.
Oh, okay. I've missed what? One prediction day?
You missed
2.
like 3 podcasts.
They're like 6 and 7.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you have.
I missed one.
No, you missed like 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
All right, dude.
Like me and Tyler have done 2 without Chris and Goodbrain.
And I know me, Chris, and Norman did 1 without Garrett.
So
All right,
3.
dude. All right, enough of the slander. Let's talk college football, all right?
Call of Duty's more important, right?
No.
So I have Ohio State, obviously. I think Indiana's going to give them a game. Somehow we're favored by 20.5, and I don't know how. But the fact that Indiana had a close game with Penn State and Ohio State controlled the game against Penn State very well. And it really wasn't close the whole entire game, in my opinion. Like, the score obviously is one thing, but on the field it wasn't really close. I think Ohio State's going to beat Indiana, for sure.
I think we all have Ohio
State
State
if you're
except
betting man, yeah,
Goodbrain.
you're going Ohio State. Like, there's just no way Justin Fields is going to – I don't know. Like, you know.
There's a way.
If you drop
there's
Indiana,
a way,
then
but that kid is going to have to come out at Indiana, and he's just going to have a game of his life to beat Ohio
Norman, you can't say if you drop a game to Indiana because Florida dropped the game to Texas A&M, first of all. Second of all, Ohio State's known for stop, let me talk. Second of all, Ohio State's known for dropping games. They dropped the game against Purdue. They dropped the game against Virginia Tech. They dropped the game against Iowa. So it's not, if you guys drop a game to Indiana, Indiana's not a bad team. And it wouldn't
they're
necessarily
not terrible, but
it,
they're not that dominant Big Ten team.
I think what he's saying is that you can't afford to lose the game.
No, I agree. But it's not like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a drop. Would you say that Florida dropped the game against A&M?
Yes.
You just told me earlier that Kellen Heisman didn't beat Florida. They beat Florida's defense.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly what happened.
So Florida dropped the game.
Yes, Florida
So
did drop the game.
That's what I'm saying.
A
But
game
like,
that they shouldn't have dropped.
that's what I'm saying. But it happens, though. And I mean, obviously, it shouldn't happen, but it does happen. So,
Yeah.
And Ohio State tends to have it happen a lot. Trust me, big pain. But
Big
that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm going to take Ohio State, but like I said, if Indiana is going to come out and win that game, that kid is just going to have to come out and play the game of his life. Like, in the Big Ten, Ohio State is the mountain you got to climb, and that is just a mountain not a lot of people can climb, you know? So we'll have to see what happens, but I'm definitely taking Ohio State.
So
take
we're all on
here.
board for Ohio State except Goodbread. You know,
Yep, hot take, baby. Hot takes.
Respect it.
Whatever.
Huh?
Next up, we got number 10 Wisconsin at number 19 Northwestern, the undefeated teams in the Big Ten West.
That's going to be an interesting game. I'm pretty excited to see the true freshman quarterback for Wisconsin, see what he does against more, experienced Northwestern. But I think I'm going to go with Wisconsin on this one. I like what they're doing so far. They're a young team, and I think, that freshman quarterback, I think he's the future of Wisconsin football. So I'm going Wisconsin on this one.
I'm going Wisconsin too. I don't think Northwestern's very good. I think Wisconsin's going to roll them. Give me more than 7.5. I got Wisconsin by 10, baby.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is the better team, and that quarterback isn't playing really well. So I'll take Wisconsin. No discredit to Northwestern. I just don't think they're talented as Wisconsin. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go Wisconsin as well. Even though they always lose to Ohio State, they look decent this year, and they'll keep playing decent until they get to the Big Ten championship, and then proceed to lose again. But I'm gonna go Wisconsin as well.
We'll see this year.
Norman, Jesus. All right,
Zach Cohn, baby.
that happened for like a half, and then that went downhill real quick. Number 14.
Dude.
Number 14, Oklahoma State at number 18, Oklahoma.
This is going to be interesting.
Give me a hot take, Norman. Come on.
Definitely.
Come on, Norman.
The
OU
Oklahoma
fan.
The Sooner
OU
fan.
fan.
You gotta go with the hometown.
Look. It's in Norman, Oklahoma this year. I'm going to have to go with, Boomer Sooner on this one. Only because,
Don't say only because. We know why.
love Baker Mayfield, love Kyler Murray.
Love Oklahoma.
No,
Like those stickers that you see.
Oklahoma
Love God,
Homer.
love Jesus,
You
whatever.
see this
Love
guy's
Baker
house.
Mayfield. Love Kyler Murray. Love Oklahoma.
Oklahoma Homer, son.
Boomer Sooner. Got this one.
I think I might go Oklahoma State, to be honest. Spencer Rattler has just been kind of – I don't know, bro. I was hating on Spencer Rattler last year, but –
Can he perform under the lights? This is a big game.
I'm about to hate on him right now.
Yeah,
I think Chris has been a big Rattler hater.
Yeah,
Spencer Rattler.
All right. Who you got, Chris? Oklahoma State?
I'm going to take Oklahoma State.
I'm going Oklahoma State, too. Spencer Rattler thinks he's some kind of hotshot kid who come here and win the Heisman. Played like shit all season. Oklahoma State looks good. I'm taking Oklahoma State.
I'm going to Oklahoma State as well. I thought I was going to be the only one that went Oklahoma State on this one.
Oh, wow. Everybody's going to get going.
But I was going to be the hot take. Yeah, we're not OU fans, buddy.
It's just he hasn't played great this year, man. He's turned the ball over a lot. He's made a lot of.
That is true.
But
I like Lincoln Riley as a coach. I mean, Lincoln Riley is a hell of a coach. He's an offensive mind.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought Texas was gonna go in there and bend Oklahoma over their knee, and somehow Oklahoma ended up winning that football game. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler, I'm just not sold on that. And I know he's young, but
who did Oklahoma State lose to? Texas?
I feel like if Oklahoma drops this game, they lose in Oklahoma. I think this might be Lincoln Riley's last year in Oklahoma, honestly.
They lost to Iowa State and Kansas State.
He competed for a national championship last year. I don't think he's got a brand new quarterback.
In the playoffs, they just get smacked by whatever team they play. Like they play the SEC and they just get destroyed. It don't matter.
Well, if he loses, whatever, I don't think he gets fired. He chooses to leave.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he gets fired. I think he decides he's going to go ahead and leave.
I think the NFL. You see the hires. Cliff Kingsbury got hired straight from Texas Tech, and what's Texas Tech? Like
where would he land in a Power 5 school? Exactly. I think he would fit better in the NFL.
South Carolina, maybe.
What he's done at Oklahoma.
South Carolina, Jesus.
But he's won 4 or 5 Big 12 champions. But I think he's ready for the NFL.
I just don't think the Big 12 can compete with the other conferences. Like their defense isn't good enough to stop any other offense.
No, definitely not.
And it's
Like
crazy. 'cause,
even
like,
for the
Texas,
slightest bit.
And, like, they have such a fertile recruiting ground at Texas, and they just can't. You got LSU that goes into Texas and pulls recruits out. You got A&M in your backyard. You got Ohio State will go into Texas.
Ohio State just pulled the number one
Like,
player in
it's
the
insane.
2022
Like,
class from Texas.
They can't keep recruits. Wait,
Yeah, I seen that.
Number one quarterback.
yeah, it's like they cannot keep kids home in state, and it's killing them.
He actually decommitted from Texas 2 weeks ago and committed to Ohio State today.
Mm.
Man, they're letting guys just come into their like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you got to lock down your state in recruiting. Like, of course, you're gonna have guys that get out, but
You're gonna lose a 3-star. You're gonna lose a 3-star here and there, and maybe 1 5-star. But like Penn State this year, all 10 of the top 10 kids in Penn State or in Pennsylvania are going to other programs. 2 are going to Pitt, 2 are going to Ohio State, 1's going to Clemson. Like, none are going to Penn State.
Yeah, and I think that safety's going to LSU.
Yeah, so none's going to Penn State at all, and it's like you lost 2 5-star recruits to Pittsburgh in state. Not you're not losing it to a big school, to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's a big issue, and a lot of coaches end up I don't think people look too in depth to that, into that, but I mean, it's a huge issue if you can't recruit the big names in your state as a big Power 5 school.
Yeah.
And if you're the only big Power 5 school in that state, like Texas struggles with Texas A&M, obviously, and when TCU was good, like you got a lot of schools in there. Oklahoma has Oklahoma State. Like there's a lot of schools. Like there's 2 good schools in that state. But like Florida's the big school in Florida, I would say. I mean, Miami, whatever. But
it's tough for them too because not only are they recruiting again, like Florida State when Florida State was at its peak, and they were playing good football.
Everybody wanted to go to
Florida State. For sure, yeah. But if you look at that's like if LSU lost a 5-star product from Louisiana to Lafayette,
right?
Like they decided to go to Louisiana Lafayette instead of LSU. Like there's no way.
Florida recruits really, really well in Alabama too.
Yeah, or Ohio State lost but that's natural though. I mean, it's a big school in a big state. Like that's normal. It's when you lose it. It's like Alabama lost a 5-star to South Alabama. Like what?
Yeah.
Or Ohio State lost one to Akron or the University of Ohio. Like that shouldn't happen. Not at all. If you're gonna lose one, it should be lost outside of your state to maybe Clemson comes in there and picks it, which sucks. But it's better than losing to Iowa or Ohio or whoever. But
right.
Next game, we got number 7 Cincinnati at UCF.
We got Cincinnati on this one. I don't think UCF is the same talented UCF team without Mackenzie Milton. I mean, yes, they still got players, ballers, but without Mackenzie Milton, they're not the same UCF team, in my opinion.
Yeah, no hot takes here. I'm taking Cincinnati for sure.
Yeah, I got Cincinnati on this one.
I really wanted to say UCF just because I want to see an upset. Last game we got Iowa at Penn State.
Ooh, I think we're all on the same.
I'm gonna take Iowa because Penn State's played like shit.
Penn State is just terrible this year. I mean, aren't they 0-3?
0-4.
Yeah,
0-4, bro.
And Sean Clifford got benched last week too.
Like, oh my God, this is not the same state team. I'm going with Iowa on this one.
Thanks.
And it's crazy because Iowa's offense has been putting up some decent stats. I mean, their quarterback's pretty average, but they're averaging 370 yards per game. And
I would like to see the same Iowa team when they played in the Rose Bowl a few years back. That was a hell of a team to watch play that year.
Who'd they play?
Stanford. When Christian McCaffrey lit it up, they put 40 points on their ass.
Who'd Iowa play in the Big Ten championship that year?
Wisconsin.
Probably Wisconsin.
No, they can't. They're on the same side of the bracket. They're on the same side of the conference.
It's probably Penn State.
What year was it?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Hang on.
I think it was Penn State. I think that was the year Penn State won off the fucking block field goal.
Yeah, but Penn State would have been in the Big Ten champ or in the playoffs if they would have won.
No, I think you guys got in over them.
2015. It was 2015.
So they played at Michigan State. That's the year Michigan State made it in and got destroyed by Alabama.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the year that we lost to Michigan State, the kicker.
Yeah.
Michael Geiger.
What was it, a blocked punt or something?
No, he just kicked a field goal. Penn State blocked the field goal on us the year after.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, Stanford. What I was asked was like 45-16.
Stanford beat a lot of people back then, though.
Yeah, they were a 12-2 team that year. That was when they had Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, but back on track. I think I'm gonna go Penn State.
What?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like James Franklin isn't gonna if he loses this game, he might be fired.
I don't
lost to Michigan
know,
State.
bro.
Hasn't been canned yet, so I think.
But Michigan's Michigan, though. I mean, Michigan's
You
used to.
can't just say Michigan's.
There's no way you lose to
mean,
Michigan State, bro. Michigan State, no district. I hate to shit on programs and make it feel like they're shitty or something because LSU ain't been playing great ball either. But Michigan State has been bad for a couple of years now.
Okay, so but when
Vanderbilt.
When Ohio State lost to Purdue, nobody was calling for Urban Meyer to get fired.
Because Urban Meyer had a national championship and is constantly putting out.
Urban Meyer is a legend.
Yeah, he's putting out 12 seasons every year.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh gave you none of that. Jim Harbaugh, his best year was the year he lost to you guys. The JT was short, whatever.
But he's won 9 games every single year.
Yeah, but he's not an Urban Meyer or, Nick Saban.
I'm not comparing him to
He's
Nick
a good coach. I mean,
he has not. He was supposed to come in there and elevate this program. This program, the reason they brought him in there was to compete with Ohio State. That's the whole reason they brought him, and he has not done that.
Okay,
There's no way he keeps his job.
Nick Mullen
I know
loses.
you want him to keep his job because
no, I don't care.
every year.
No, I really don't care. But I'm just saying, Nick Mullen loses to Vanderbilt. You gonna want him fired? Or not Nick Mullen, Dan Mullen. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Nick Mullen. Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
Well, of course not. I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to fire you after one game." You know what I mean?
This is consistently bad.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be different if Dan Mullen was, consistently having losing seasons. That doesn't be like, okay, well, you're not cut down, so you got.
So James Franklin never making the playoffs, and
we lose to Vanderbilt. I'm an Alabama fan.
And being 0-5 this year doesn't let him lose his job.
No.
How?
I don't think if Harbaugh can keep his job at Michigan, I think Franklin can keep his job at Penn State.
Okay, so let's say they both lose this week, though. If they both lose this week, who's going to get fired first?
Michigan's won a game.
A game,
though. A game.
They've won 2, but they've won 1. I'm sorry, but how many has Penn State won? They beat Minnesota the first week.
Penn State was good last year, though. I don't see how they fired him.
Michigan was decent last year, too.
Not good. They weren't better than Penn State, though. Penn State actually had a chance.
I don't know. Penn State and Michigan are always up and down every year.
I mean, neither of them can beat Ohio State. But...
I don't think you can fire Franklin. I don't think you can fire Franklin. Not yet.
I think the best chance for one of those two teams to beat Ohio State was the year they had Saquon Barkley, Trace McSorley.
They could have beat them. They blew it.
They could have beat them. Yeah, they were beating them, and then
Michigan lost 3 games.
Penn State being Penn State.
Michigan lost 3 regular season games last year. They lost to Wisconsin. They lost to Penn State by 7, and they lost to Ohio State by 28. 29.
Yeah, see.
But I mean, Penn State. I don't know. Penn State hasn't done anything amazing either.
He does have a Big Ten championship though.
Penn State lost to Nebraska last week, and Maryland the week before.
Maryland's been playing pretty good though. Don't do that.
Man, you got little Tagovailoa or whatever the hell over there.
Were they playing really good when they got beat by Northwestern by 70?
Yeah.
Look, they lost a game badly, but since that loss
to Northwestern though,
Northwestern's unbeaten.
But it's let's be honest. It's Northwestern. How
They're
many of us
unbeaten.
How many of us picked Northwestern to beat Wisconsin?
None of us, but it doesn't change the fact that they're currently unbeaten, are they not?
But it's Northwestern.
Currently ranked in the top.
Yeah, but you can't just say it's Northwestern though. Like Northwestern has played in Big Ten championships.
You're right.
You know?
Okay,
They're not
Vanderbilt
terrible.
goes undefeated. They played 1 year when Ohio State beat them with Dwayne Haskins. Vanderbilt's undefeated, 5-0 going into a Florida game, and you beat them by 70.
That'll never happen because Vanderbilt fucking sucks.
All right, well, it's a scenario.
I'm just saying, it's Vanderbilt.
If
Okay,
you've got 5-1 Florida versus 6-0 Vanderbilt, who you picking?
Florida because you.
Why? Hold on. Why? Why?
Why?
They're
Because
undefeated.
they
Why
look
are you
like the
choosing?
better
No,
team. They're the most complete team against Vandy.
that doesn't matter though. Vandy's undefeated though.
Yeah, but okay.
He's proving you wrong
right now. You
right
pull up the
now.
stats and you pull up the film.
But that doesn't matter. Vandy's undefeated.
I get what
though.
you're saying because Northwestern is historically bad. It's like, yeah, they're unbeaten right now, but historically they're shit.
Maryland's historically terrible too.
Yeah, and but at the moment, Northwestern isn't playing bad football. So we'll see how the season plays out the rest of the year. But currently, they're sitting here unbeaten, and Maryland's only loss is
All I'm saying is that Maryland's loss isn't a good loss.
No, not at all. But it was an ugly game. Like I'm pretty sure they got blown out, didn't they?
Yeah, and Tua's brother threw for like 70 yards.
But since then, he's been playing really good. So
Whatever. They played Michigan State this week, and they probably were going to lose. Just go.
They're not
Sparty.
losing.
It got canceled, so you ain't got to worry.
Dude, what's up with all these games getting canceled? Jesus.
I mean,
Everybody's got the Corona Rita.
Well, it's Maryland. Maryland canceled against us too. Tua threw for 94 yards. Listen, Maryland had Tua who threw for 94 yards, or Tua's brother. Sorry, their running back only rushed for 35, and their leading wide receiver had 42 yards.
Jesus Christ!
Isn't his name Tilapia or something?
Tilapia.
Oh, yeah.
Tilapia.
Or
I mean,
it's
just
like
called him a fish. That man just called him a fish.
what's his name, dude? They
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa.
Tua and
I think his name is
Tilapia.
Tulia.
Oh, yeah. Tagovailoa.
Talia
Whatever.
Tagovailoa.
Same thing.
All right. So did everybody else go Iowa in that last game?
Yeah.
Shame.
It's awkward silence.
Oh, it is. Kyle Trask for Heisman.
Look, I'm watching the Seahawks game. It looks like Seattle's about to drive down the field. Oh no, they're already they're in the red zone. They're about to score.
NFL
care.
sucks.
That is very true. But all right, boys.
Hey, Tulane and Tulsa are going into overtime right now.
What a good game that was.
I mean, Tulsa's ranked, dude.
Yeah, they're 25th in the country.
Yeah, but it's Tulsa, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Tulsa's balling.
But they're undefeated.
Hey, North Carolina, they're number 15.
Hey,
No, Tulsa
used
is
to
not
seeing
undefeated.
Tulsa going 0-12 every year.
Norman,
Come on,
Norman.
get in the props.
Norman. Florida plays Coastal Carolina this weekend. Who wins?
Florida,
Why?
Power 5 school, baby. Go Gators.
But Coastal Carolina's undefeated.
Deuces.
Coastal Carolina's undefeated, though.
No, Power 5 school, homie.
Whatever.
I'm out.
All right, boys.
All right.